I'm 88 years old, and what I'm about to say makes me uncomfortable. Not because it is dramatic, not because it is complicated, because it is simple. And I lived most of my life as if it wasn't true. You probably believe you know what love is. You probably think you will recognize it when it matters. I thought that too. And I was wrong. And only then did I realize how late my love had become, when it no longer changes anything. Let me tell you what my life looked like before it broke open.
I worked. I provided. I did what I thought I was supposed to do. I made sure the bills were paid on time, the kids were cared for, and the house was always in order. I was always doing something, always managing, always working. I woke up early, I came home tired, and the next day I did it all over again. People saw me as strong, as the one who had everything under control. They said my husband was lucky to have me. And I believed them. It was easier that way. Easier than looking closely at what was missing, at what was quietly slipping through my fingers. My husband's name was Kamran. He had this quiet charm, the kind that wasn't loud but made you feel safe when he was near. He didn't say much, but when he smiled, the whole room softened. He wasn't perfect, but neither was I. He could be distant. He could retreat into his own world, lost in thoughts I didn't always understand. But he was never cruel. He carried his burdens in silence, and I mistook that for strength. For years, I loved him like love was something that could survive on duty alone. I thought, because I did everything, because I stayed, because I kept the house running, took care of the children, remembered every little thing, that meant everything was fine. But love isn't just about what you don't do. It's not just about providing. It's about what you choose to give, the attention, the tenderness, the time. And I gave those things to everything else, to the chores, to the endless to-do lists, to everything except him. I would sit beside him while he talked, but my mind was somewhere else. It was on tomorrow's tasks, the next thing I had to do. Sometimes I could see it in his eyes, the distance. He'd stop talking mid-sentence, waiting for me to look up, and I'd say, "What? I'm listening." But I wasn't. I was waiting for him to finish so I could get back to my list. I didn't realize how many small moments I was breaking, not loudly, not all at once, just tiny cracks, a slow chipping away. On paper, everything seemed fine. We had a decent house, not a mansion, but a place that felt like home. We had children, our children. They were healthy, well-fed, doing well in school. I had friends who told me, "You've made it." But I remember standing there, hearing those words, and feeling nothing. No pride, no gratitude, just a dry tiredness that I told myself was normal, that it was a part of life. And I lied to myself, the same way so many people do. I told myself, I have time. I had time to take Kamran on that trip, later. I had time to sit down and talk, after this project. I had time to really look at him when life calms down. But life doesn't calm down. Life doesn't wait for you to catch up. It just keeps going, one problem after another. And I kept telling myself, I have time. But time ran out. One morning, Kamran didn't get out of bed. It wasn't anything dramatic, no loud screams, no warning bells, just a quiet morning, and his body refusing to move like it had endless time. He said he felt strange, dizzy, weak. I told him to rest. I told him I would take him to the doctor after I finished what I was doing, and he just looked at me, tired, so tired. He said, "You always say later," and then he closed his eyes. Later that day, I found him sitting on the edge of the bed, holding the side table, pale and weak. I drove him to the hospital. I wasn't scared yet. I was just irritated. I still had things to do. I'm ashamed to admit that now. At the hospital, we sat under those harsh white lights, the kind that make everyone look older. The doctor spoke calmly, like he'd said the same words 1,000 times. He said something was wrong with Kamran's heart. He said there would be tests. He said we needed to be careful. And then, for the first time, mortality stood in the room with us. It wasn't a lesson. It wasn't a wake-up call. It was just a fact. We went home with medicine and instructions. Kamran got slower after that. He rested more, moved less, and I kept trying to keep the old machine running. I kept thinking if I just kept busy, it would all be fine. But it wasn't fine. Months passed, and his health kept getting worse. It wasn't like the movies. There was no big, dramatic moment. It was worse than that. It was just ordinary. It was the quiet shrinking of the person I loved, while the world outside kept asking me to keep going. Bills still came, people still called, and I still kept telling myself, I have time. One night, Kamran asked me to sit with him. Just sit. He didn't want me to talk or fix anything. He just wanted me to be there. I sat next to him. My body was there, but my mind was still running. Then he reached for my hand. His fingers were thinner than I remembered. He held my hand like he was holding on to something steady, and he asked me in a whisper, "Did I make your life harder?" That question still haunts me. What kind of man asks that when he's the one dying? I told him, no, of course not. But even to myself, my voice sounded far away. He studied my face for a long time, as though he could see right through me. And then he said, "I think you loved me, but I don't think you ever really saw me." And that broke me. Because he was right. I had loved him, yes, but I had loved him like someone who thought she had all the time in the world. I loved him with my duty, with my responsibility, with my sacrifice, but not with my presence, not with my softness, not with the love that needs to be noticed, that needs to be seen. And in that moment, everything shifted. I started seeing my life like a checklist, a long list of tasks to get through. And somehow, in the process of ticking every box, I forgot to live with him. I forgot to really be with him. I treated him like part of the routine. Important, yes. Valuable, yes. But not sacred, not like he deserved. And then the memories rushed back. Times when he stood in the doorway waiting for me to look up. Times when he wanted to share something small with me, and I gave him a half smile, too busy to notice. Times when I pulled away, too tired, too focused on the next task. And it hit me harder than anything before it. You can live with someone for decades and still never really see them. Kamran died quietly, early in the morning. The room was dim, like the sun didn't know it was time to rise yet. I sat beside him, watching the rise and fall of his chest. And then, just like that, it stopped. No big moment, no final words, just silence. And the silence wasn't peaceful. It felt like something essential had been taken away. I called his name over and over, like if I said it enough, maybe he would come back. But the universe doesn't bargain. The nurse came, the doctor came, but they didn't bring him back. I only remember one thing. His hand was warm for a short time after he passed, and then it became cold. I can't explain what it does to a woman to feel the warmth leave the hand that had held her life together for so long. After the funeral, people came. They brought food, said prayers, told me she was a good woman, and then they left, and I was left with the house we built together. But without him, it felt empty. I stood in the kitchen, the worst part of the house, and realized I had spent all these years chasing the big things, promotions, savings, respect. But they don't matter. They never did. What matters are the small things, The quiet moments, the times you looked at each other, the times you really listened. I started to see the lie of success. Success doesn't bring warmth. It doesn't hold you when you're tired. It doesn't see you for who you really are. Now I understand. It's people. It's time. It's presence. It's sitting down, looking at someone, and truly being with them. So let me ask you this. If you died tomorrow, who would feel that you truly saw them? Not who you paid for, not who you provided for. Who felt that you truly saw them? Who felt safe with you? Who felt like you were truly there for them? And if that question makes your chest tighten, don't ignore it. That tightness is your heart still having time. If I could talk to my younger self, I would give her simple advice. Stop treating your exhaustion like an excuse. Stop putting off the important things for later. Start paying attention now, not after the storm. Start sitting down with the people that matter. Start telling them why they matter. Start making time for the small things, because they are what will stay with you. And when you picture yourself at my age, sitting in a quiet house, what do you want to regret less? And who do you need to see before it's too late?